changed the squad, gone extremely young. Was there a reason for it? Was it pre-planned regardless of the result last week?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. You know, we went into the start of the NAB Cup with a pretty healthy list, but we was trying to plan out, especially the next 3 weeks. So last week, this week, and NAB 3 are trying to get the game time into everyone and where they're at injury-wise, how much pre-season they've done, how much games they've done. So a fair bit dictated by the health of our list and also the new rules we have to deal with. It makes it pretty hard to try and get that balance right and make sure everyone's prepared as good as you can for round one.
Had you won both games last week, would it have been different this week? Or?
No, it would have been the same. Yeah, it would have been the same. As I said, we were pretty adamant, especially with our on-ball group. We've got a lot of guys putting their hands up to playing there. We want to have a look at quite a few of them and also give them a good opportunity in there, not just 15 minutes or a quarter and a half. So hence why we picked the team we have this week.
Warren Treadway this morning looked at the squad and pretty well declared it's going to be set up for a slaughter. Will that be the case, or is there any value in putting such a young squad against West Coast?
Look, if you look at West Coast, they've got probably 10 of their very good players, and then they've got a lot of guys they're going to have a look at. So, it depends when their balance of that team comes out. If it's a strong first half team and a bit less so in the second half. So, no, I'd be disappointed if it was a slaughter. We've got a young squad going over there, but they're up and about. They're feeling good about themselves, and it's a great test. As I said earlier in the week, West Coast have certainly mutterings coming out of there. They want to win a flag this year, and regardless of how strong their team is, they're going to have some good quality players out there, and we get to see where we're at.
So, what's your expectation? What's realistic for that side?
Be competitive, and play the kind of footy that we've been training and practicing all summer. That's the main thing out of it. The results will determine, regardless of the rotations or how strong we become or how weak the other team become. I just want to see that come through as much as it did last week.
Is there a reason Brent Renouf didn't get a run this week?
Well, probably from about a month, 2 months ago, it was probably going to be available in NAB 3, and maybe he's a little bit ahead of that, but why push it when that was his plan so long ago? And he's come this far, playing this week, playing a quarter and a half, travelling to Perth, all that kind of stuff. We can get him prepared for hopefully 2 games at home in the next 2 weeks.
Where's Brett Ebert at, Matty?
Brett, he might be available to play next week. Yeah, he's had a bit of a hamstring complaint over the last couple of weeks, and we're just trying to get that right. And probably didn't come at the opportune time heading into NAB Cup for him, but I would say within the next week to 10 days he'll be available for selection.
So, Matty, you look to probably lock your final side for round one in the next NAB 3 next week or the week after?
Well, we're getting close to it, depending on what the rules are for next week, and then obviously NAB 4 is a lot close to the home and away season, but we'll slowly get closer and closer to that as we get closer to round one.
You said getting close to that, Rich said, you've got a young side this week. How important is it for those sort of the youngest, the second-tier players to stand up and make an impact in that?
Oh, look, it's a great opportunity for them, especially through our midfield. I think West Coast have probably going to start with a pretty good team in their midfield straight up, so that'd be a good test for, Hartlett and Banner and Broadbrand and McCarthy, and, we've got Salopek and Kane Corns going through there with Moore, and those guys, and Fife is going to play a little bit in there. So it's a great challenge against them and an opportunity for them to, maybe solidify a spot in our starting team.
What will it tell you about them mentally?
Where they're up for the challenge. There's some young guys that haven't travelled with us, so they get to experience that factor. So just an ability to prepare again for another game. What happened last week was over, and we've had a good week on the track and prepare again away from home against a good team.
The numbers last week midfield-wise were encouraging. How did you see it in terms of when you did the review and the setups, the structures and all the things you've been working on?
Pleasing. Still some work to be done, and the ability just to concentrate for the full quarters and full games. We probably leaked a few goals towards the very end of the quarter, so we're just focusing back on the concentration and the voice and leadership out there of our whole group to make sure that those little things when we did lose some goals and cost ourselves some goals were more just not playing out the full game, and that'll shine through again this week, and we're going to focus on that. As long as we're focusing on our competitive stuff, the other stuff will slowly evolve.
Inevitably young blokes make mistakes. How have you coached them through that this week?
Just go and forget about it, move on and get the next one. Learn from it, and we'll learn through our review and our training. But we're all going to make blues. Just move on quickly as you can. Worry about trying to get the next ball and doing your best you can when you get that. And I think they've really been great with that mentality all through pre-season, and we're going to have to continue because we're going to make some blues. But it's how quickly we learn from it, or how quickly we forget about it and move on to the next episode.
Is there a strong understanding on the field that everyone's got to help each other out on that one, and the ending the blame game that was going on before?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's you rely on your teammates to come over and give you some encouragement, and also individually you just got to, we're going to mess up. the game goes for 120 minutes, and there's going to be mistakes everywhere. And we watch a great game in the grand final. I'm sure there's plenty of players who made mistakes. So that's a part of the game. It's just how quickly you move on from it, and you're determined to go and get the next ball.
Matty, 12 months ago, how much your team and your squad's evolved, personnel-wise and on-field. What's the one defining quality or feature that's different this time around?
I think I've said it a lot. We've just had majority of our squad have completed a full pre-season, so physically they're going to be capable of for playing 22 games. Now not everyone in our squad will, but it gives us the opportunity that we know physically we're going to be able to handle going deeper into the season and deeper into games. And our whole squad feels that belief, and they know they're prepared as they can be. And obviously the next 3 weeks we'll get them ready for round 1. But what we've done over the last 5 months is we're in a lot better nick to handle an AFL season than what we were last year.
Can you run us through the decision behind Hamish Hartley?
In regards to...
Captaincy.
He's in our leadership group, and he's the only one travelling who's in that. So I think it picks itself. Saying that, Hamish will go out and toss the coin, and that's about it. He's got lots of other guys who've played more games on him out there this weekend, and we'll look for them to help him out in that regard. But it's just the evolution of our squad and where it's at, and it's a great little test for Hamish.